This podcast has been brought to you by Voyager's World. We are building the most amazing hospitality network. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.
Kimberly, where are you now?
I'm in Japan.
You're in Japan. Where in Japan?
Yeah. Well, currently I'm in Osaka, but I have been going to Kyoto and Tokyo as well.
Yeah.
But mostly based as when I'm in Japan, most of the times I'm in Osaka because this is where I have my Japanese family, so to say. Osaka and close to the border of Nara because there's another family I stay a lot with in Nara.
You were chosen to be on this podcast because you are a badass and you have a really interesting story. Most of the people that are watching don't know anything about you. So I'll ask you to tell a little bit about your story first, which I think is very interesting, starting with your first crazy idea of going to Japan where you're still in school. Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, man, that was a long time ago. Well, I mean, a long time ago, you know. Anyway, because I was thinking, when you said you have to tell a bit about yourself, I'm like, where do I start? So I remember, when I was very, very little, that I was already had this kind of craving of wanting to go to Japan. I have no clue where this idea ever came from. So people say maybe it's from a past life or something. But I remember being very small and walking into this toy store, and there was this little Barbie doll wearing a kimono, and I was like, Mama, that's a kimono. She's from Japan. I want her.
Were you then?
I think it was 4 or something, really small.
Okay.
I didn't even know why did I know that thing, there was no one in my family that had any connection with Japan or whatsoever. So anyway, I had this love for Japan as long as I can remember. And at some point, it really became my big dream to go there. And so at one point I ended up working my ass off when I was in high school and just after school, having work shifts till 12, 1 o'clock in night. And then in the weekends, work on Saturdays and Sundays, not spending anything, not going out, just working and saving every single coin I earned so I could realize.
You were not from a rich family that could just buy you a trip to Japan, right? You had to actually work.
Yeah, my parents I mean, it's not like they're poor, but they're definitely not rich. And I think I learned a great deal from them, working for the things you really want to, and makes you appreciate it so much more also. So actually, I'm very grateful for my parents and happy that the situation I grew up in, because it learned me so much about working hard for the things you want instead of just getting them.
Was it difficult to convince them to let you go to Japan? Because you were still 16, 17 when you went?
I mean, when I was 16, 17, I was already working to go to Japan. I guess it was around my 15, 16 years old that I decided that I would go. I guess for a parent, it's always difficult to see your child go far away for a longer time period, because we were talking about a period of 1 year, and I was 18 the moment I left. So I guess, yes, of course, it had to be difficult for them to accept that. But at the same time, it is the fact that I worked so hard for it that I earned their respect, and they had something like, wow, Kim, you're working so hard for this. You should go. You should definitely do this. We're behind you. And I got all the support they could offer. So I'm very grateful for that.
What did you do in Japan?
So on my 18th birthday, I left the Netherlands and I ended up in Japan, this country I've always wanted to go to. I ended up with a homestay, so host family, really Japanese traditional family. I guess we were with 9 people in one house at a time, because the traditional style is with the grandma and the grandpa in the house, and then there were the parents. They had 4 kids, and there was me plus a dog. So yeah, it was really very traditional with the also the grandparents in the house, which I never had before also. So for me, it was the first time also to experience having a grandma and a grandpa. I went to high school and I joined my father in his karate dojo. Was something I had been doing since I was 9 years old. I have quite a history with karate. I was going to a Japanese high school. Even though I finished my high school in the Netherlands, I went to a Japanese high school just for the experience, which was great. Very interesting also, like wearing this Japanese uniform, which do not have any body shape. So I always felt like wearing a box. And I generally felt like Godzilla because everyone was so small. I felt like I was huge.
Oh,
And, that's not a
you're
nice
much
feeling.
taller, right, than anybody.
Yeah, I mean, taller and for an 18-year-old girl, being around all these very, very small, petite girls who have like almost no shape at all, that it's not a nice feeling in the beginning, I felt so insecure at times, like, man, I felt like Godzilla. I was like mounting over all those people and I was like, boom, boom, boom. I felt like that. Like I didn't feel very feminine at the time. Now I grew over that and it's better. I can be around small Japanese girls without getting insecure about myself.
All right, talking about being
um,
feminine, tell us about karate.
yeah, I mean, that's something I did in Japan too. I have been doing karate since I was 9 years old. And it has been a really big part of my life, actually. So big that I thought karate practice was always more important than learning for school, which my karate teacher didn't really agree with. So he was the one making me sit down at some point, like, make your homework. I was like, hey. So I did a lot of karate. I even went to world championships when I was 12 and 16. So I had traveled quite a bit because of the dojo and the tournaments I competed in. And I was very lucky to be in a family in Japan where the father was also a practitioner of karate. So we could practice together. So we went to the dojo together, and not just the dojo. I mean, at home he was, he was training me like the whole daily schedule. It's part of the training, like get up early, go to bed early, eat healthy. And we would do like condition. So we would go running together. And then the next day we would work more on technique and strength. And then we had the dojo 3 times a week. So it was nice. It was really nice. And he worked me up all the way to a big tournament in Japan. And it was just, I guess one of the best moments in that 1 year was seeing his reaction the moment that I won that tournament. He was so proud, like a real father is on his child, like it was so nice. Only there was a little bit of miscommunication because he said, literally translated is, he said, ah, long nose, long nose. So I was like, long nose? I just won the tournament and you're going to say I have a big nose? And I was like, insecure at the time about my nose and about my whole body and everything. I was like, seriously? Now you're going to shout to everyone I have a big nose? And then only 1 month later, I learned that the expression of long nose means I am so proud. Which was amazing. And I felt horrible and I felt relieved and grateful, and so many mixed feelings came at that moment that I realized that. Because he had not been saying anything about my nose. He had actually been shouting around the room, I am so proud, I'm so proud. And tears just kept flowing. It was beautiful. I was like, wow, I didn't even know.
Wow.
I didn't even know. It was beautiful, really.
You spent a year in Japan, then what happened?
After spending 1 year in Japan, doing high school, doing karate, doing tea ceremonies, and learning a lot, I came back to the Netherlands. And it was a difficult time for me, actually, because that whole time period before Japan, I had been living up towards that dream. I had been working so hard just to make that one dream come true. And then I did it. The dream came true. And at the moment I came home, I was left with nothing. Because what was I going to do? I made my dream come true. What now? There was this kind of like empty space that needed to be filled up by something. And I didn't know what to do. So This was a difficult period for me to find new dreams, to find new goals and go towards new adventures in life, which eventually came, which was nice. I ended up first I ended up working in the Netherlands, which I learned was not a good thing for me, especially the types of work that I went through. I did a lot of different things. Working in restaurants to working call centers, definitely not a good thing for me.
Oh my.
Yeah, and honestly, like for some reason, and when I worked at a call center, I ended up being the best worker at that moment, and I won this trip to Barcelona. I was like, I'm probably the one who hates this job the most, and I won this trip. What? So I don't know. That didn't make sense. I quit that after Barcelona, maybe even before. I don't even remember. But I had a relationship at that time, and I went to Aruba for 1 year. And in Aruba, I spent a lot of time on the beach. I did a lot of diving. I was teaching in a gym. I was teaching spinning classes, which I had never done before. So I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And I first came in touch with yoga, where I continued a very strong daily practice, because the first time I got in touch with yoga was on the beach. It was this full moon beach class. It was gorgeous. We had this fire, how do you call it, fire torches on the beach. It was just the whole atmosphere, everything. It was so complete, so perfect. And that was the moment that was just, it clicked, like, oh, this is it, yoga, this is it. And like there was like a new path was created on my life. So I continued with yoga, and did a lot of traveling while I was in Aruba as well, going to America for the first. That's where I met you for the first time.
I remember you were in Aruba, and then you
Yeah,
stayed there
yeah,
another year or
I
so.
did. I stayed there for 1 year because after that the contract we came with the contract of my boyfriend at that time, because he worked in the military and Aruba has a Dutch military. After that, after the contract ended, we had to go home, but I decided to take a little, a bigger round trip going back home. So we went from, I went first to Brazil on my own. And from Brazil, I met my boyfriend in Miami. And then we went New York, Iceland, and then back home. So then I came back in the Netherlands. That was pretty much the end of the relationship also, because, it hadn't been going very well. So from there, I continued traveling alone again. After Aruba, yeah, what happened then?
You have been to Arizona once, right?
Yeah, that was, well, I was living in Aruba.
Oh, okay.
We went to Arizona for Christmas. It was really
Oh.
nice. Sedona was gorgeous. Oof. I love the hiking there.
Then I remember that in 2013 I was preparing for my second run across America, and we were having a lot of conversations online, and
Mm.
and you were going through some
I remember.
difficult time there.
Well, I mean, obviously, I was not in a very good relationship, and it got very, it brought a lot of challenges with it, and also a lot of lessons that I learned. After Aruba, I went to the temple. I went to the Philippines.
That's right, because I
Right.
remember you were asking a lot about, so what do I do now, right? You were trying to figure out what is the next thing. Maybe
Yeah.
just similar in a similar way, perhaps, as when you came back from Japan the first time.
I guess, yeah, I had a lot of this kind of like loopholes that I went through all the time. Like I have this big thing going on, this big travel, and then boom, you end up back in the Netherlands. What's
Hmm.
next? And then again, you go on this big adventure, and boom, you're right back in the Netherlands. What's next? So it was kind of like this continuous circle.
Uh-huh.
Very annoying.
Yeah.
Also, I think everyone, in a way, is always trying to figure out like, what is it that I do in life? What is the purpose that I'm here, and
Mhm.
in their own way, continuously searching for that. So
But
I went. I got this opportunity to go to a temple in the Philippines and stay there for about 3 months and really like live there with the monks to study about Buddhism, humanistic Buddhism. and really experience this temple lifestyle, something I have been wanting to do for a long, long time already. And it was actually 1 year before that I wrote to this temple that I would like to stay with them. And I never, ever got a reply from them until that 1 year, until that day, 1 year later. And it was just, the timing was so perfect. I got an email from them, and the next week I was there. So everything happened very fast at that moment. I got the email, the timing was just perfect, and bam, there it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed there.
You went to Los Angeles for a week.
Mm.
And you,
that was after the temple, yeah.
Yeah, right after the temple. And the idea of teaching yoga came up. No, you already knew that you wanted to do it. You wanted to be a teacher, but...
I mean, I was already traveling and teaching yoga, but like a more sustainable way, or like more... I was already like a freelance teacher on the road. I had been teaching in the temple. I had been doing some classes in Brazil after my teacher training, which was... the timelines are weird.
While I was running, you were in Brazil.
Right.
Training.
So I was teaching already before I did my teacher training. That's true.
Yeah.
I was like confused by myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the timeline is so confusing. So yeah, I was teaching before I did the teacher training. I wanted to do the teacher training in Brazil, so I went there in 2014. But I knew that already because I booked that teacher training like 1 year before. Mm-hmm. But the thought of yoga came up in Los Angeles to teach at a deeper level, like teach with more meaning, I guess, with a mission, teaching with a mission. Yeah, really cool. And then after the teacher training, we did the 3 months road trip through Europe.
Tell our listeners what was that idea.
So
they don't know
I guess this whole podcast might be so confusing because one thing going into the other, and they're like, what?
That's your life. It was like that. One thing
my life is
another.
very, it's just one confusing ball. Everything is just mixed up and doesn't make sense, but in a way it does. And anyway, I'm enjoying it, so it's fine. When we were in Los Angeles after the temple and before Brazil, we came up with the idea of yoga, where I wanted to bring yoga to the people who cannot afford yoga, because somehow yoga became very expensive, luxury product, where yoga is something from years. It's this ancient thing where, it's for everyone. It's like 5,000 years ago. It was in India and everything. People do it everywhere, not just in very expensive studios. So just the thought of that yoga is expensive and only for the rich people, so to say. I thought it's crazy, I do not agree. I do not agree with that at all. So yoga is a project where I would teach free classes to the people who cannot afford it, but also if you can afford it, you're free to join, and you can donate. And just donate whatever feels good for you, whatever you can miss at that moment. And if that happens to be nothing that day, then whatever, come for free. And with that thought of bringing yoga to everyone, we traveled around Europe on the motorcycle for 3 months. And we visited about 22 countries. And we did a lot of, I taught a lot of yoga classes. And you participated in some of them. And that was fun. And it was great. I mean, crazy places. I have been teaching yoga in a museum, in the cathedral, a lot of parks, great views. Yeah, it was crazy. I never forget in Hungary, I think it was, when I had this class with 70 people. Like, oh my God, so many people.
Big class. Yeah.
We even went back for another class because there were so many people. Oh, that was amazing. But even, like this class with 70 people, of course, it was like overwhelming, and it was amazing to have so many people in my class. But then even the classes like in Lithuania, where I had 4 or 5 people, those were great as well, just the opportunity that I could share that practice with those people. It doesn't matter if it's 4 or 70. Both experiences were equally as great.
And so after you did that trip,
Mm.
What else did you do?
So in that year of the 3 months on motorcycle
2014, yeah,
trip, that was
2014.
2013. Yeah, so it was first 3 months Brazil, then we went 3 months for Europe, and then I went to Japan.
You went
I went
back
to
already?
Japan. Yeah, I
Yes.
went back to Japan because I felt I have to go back. And, I'm someone, I follow my heart. I don't really follow the mind. So yeah,
All right.
follow
And
the heart. If it feels good, I do it.
good. Third time already? Third
I'm
time
here
now,
for the third
right?
time right now. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. And what people ask you about it? Because first of all, usually people ask, how do you pay for it, right?
Yeah,
And
I
they
hate that.
already know that you had to work, you had to save money. For some parts of it, you could count on donations, and some people participated on your projects. But explain to people in general, how do you do it? How do you make it
Oh,
happen?
really, the thing is, it sounds so standard and stupid, but it's true. Just go. I mean, seriously, there is not just one trick that I have that make all the traveling possible for me. It's not that all my travels come from just this one saving or this one way. I mean, I had so many things going on. For example, in the beginning, Japan, and yeah, I worked my ass off, and a lot of other travels I just saved, and then I would go. I mean, my main expenses are the flights. And as soon as I get somewhere, I don't spend that much money because I do a lot of couch surfing. I stay with the local people, and there's a lot of trades going on. So I would like trade my yoga class for a surf class, um, trade other things for having a meal or a couch to sleep on. And it's just a lot of like giving and taking, and then just, it's beautiful, just a lot of sharing instead of like, here's my money, give me something back for it. The money mainly goes to the flights. And for sure, you need money for these kind of things. So that was savings, but donations for projects that I had running. But also I had this viral video somehow that came out. Somehow I had a viral video, and now it's watched by almost 2 million people or something. And that gave me some expenses too, that I could buy flight tickets from. And then I did some work as a model, where sometimes I would have a big gig, and then just one photo shoot would give me enough financial support to buy another ticket.
Uh-huh.
So it's
I'll
really, it's
add
a
that
lot.
video, the viral video. I'll put it
Oh
here
my
on
God.
this
All right.
podcast.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody will love it. Oh, you did some seminars too, right? One in Italy, one in Spain.
A retreat, yeah, not a seminar. I did, yeah, I teach yoga retreats. I did the first one during the Europe tour, was the one in Italy. It was, wow, it was gorgeous. This little, small, beautiful apartment in Italy. And there were only men participants. Only male participants. I was like, what? This is just one single lady surrounded with beautiful men. All open hearts, and it was beautiful. Seriously, it was very, very blessed. After Italy, I did a retreat in Spain, and the next retreat will probably be this spring, also in Spain. Yeah,
Okay,
I would
do
like
you
to
know
give
already any more details about it?
the next one will be. It's on my website actually. It's just kimberleynutbey.com, and then under the yoga you find the retreats. All the information is there. So yeah, it's always very magical because I like to keep the group small. So there's a lot of trust building. It's very nice.
What else people usually ask you about your travels?
Definitely that question of like, how do you do it? Like financially is the one that pops up a lot. And like I said, it's really, I find a very difficult question. It's very hard to answer. There's not just one answer for that. Other people also like tend to ask me like, how do you do it? Like I guess like mentally, like how do you just like do all this shit? Um, and that's the thing, like you just got to go, you just got to follow your heart and step into the unknown. I guess that's a big step for a lot of people, that they choose safety, which I can understand, of course. It's just that for me the unknown is actually a need in my life. Like I need that piece of adventure. For me, stepping into the unknown is this wonderful thing. Like, I love to not know what's going to happen. I love surprises. So for me, this comes very natural. I just, as soon as I set my mind on something, I go for it. And if that contains a lot of like darkness, that I don't know what's going to happen, a lot of surprises, even the better, like I go for it. So I guess, yeah, that's a lot. People ask me like, how do you do it? Like, apart from the money, like how do you manage?
That is a story that is good to tell here. That once in Los Angeles, we took a photo that I edited, and I made it look like Kim was on my right side and Kim was on my left side with wearing different dresses. And I posted on Facebook that we met her twin sister, or we said some story like that, and a lot of people believe that they were twins, and
Yeah.
I think someone suggested, or I suggested, that would explain how you have been to so many places in such a short period of time. Is that, yeah, one sister goes to one country while the other sister goes to another country, and some
Yeah.
people actually believe that.
Well, they do. They did. I mean, we had so many people being confused. Even like friends that were so close to me. I was like, seriously, I would have told you if I had a twin sister. Like, they believed it. They were so confused. I was like, well, I mean, social media, I mean, like, it gets a lot of surprise. I mean, when I was in Germany, I think last year, I posted I was married because,
Uh-huh.
I'm married for fun to one of my girlfriends.
Uh-huh.
And
I remember.
and so many people believed it. And like congratulating me and everything. And like my sister even got angry on me. My own sister. She got angry at me. She said, like, what? You got married without telling the family? I'm like, yeah. She said, to a woman? I'm like, yeah. She's, why? I said, oh, she can cook great. For that reason? She was so upset. And, and I just had to push it a bit more, of course, because seriously, you're going to believe that? You're my sister. You wouldn't think that if I seriously got married, I would tell you. I'm really the person. I mean, I know I do a lot of things like simultaneously, but randomly getting married to someone, I'm not sure I would do that. So yeah, I don't know. But having a twin sister maybe explains all the different sides of me as well. Oh no, that was the other Kim. That was not me.
That's
Oh,
right.
that crazy time. No, that was her. It wasn't me. I mean, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of different sides. I mean, I guess. Some people
Uh,
are very confused.
it reminds me of that story you told about walking on rooftops or something like that.
Uh,
Remember
I have
that?
a share of, well, I have several stories on rooftops. I don't know. Somehow I end up on rooftops. I don't
Uh-huh.
know. I was one time in Aruba
Uh-huh.
on a rooftop. I'm not gonna say what happened.
No.
And I guess I always end up on rooftops when I'm drunk.
And I remember you had pictures doing yoga on the rooftop with your cat, and the
Yeah, that
cat
that
was
was
doing
sober.
yoga.
That was sober. Yeah, no, true. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was crazy. My cat, my little cat was doing this dog pose, and I
Mhm.
was doing the cat pose, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, no, I don't know. I end up on rooftops. I like heights, I guess, in a way. I always thought that I could fly. When I was a little kid, I was used to shout like, "Mom, I can fly! I can fly! Look, this time it's really gonna work!" And I would like jump off the edge and like, "Whoa!" And see, it was like 3 seconds up. Yeah. Yeah, my mom liked it until I climbed into really high trees and she thought I was going to jump out to see if I could fly. I didn't. I never did. I never did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes people go like to a building or someplace, especially when they are drunk or on drugs, and they decide that, oh, I think I can fly, and they try and die, right? And that's natural,
Obviously, I
because
didn't. I'm sitting here.
if they were smart and they believe they can fly, they would start from the ground. Why
Right.
not? If you can fly.
Actually, I had dreams where I would also start from the ground. I would like swim up into the air.
Ah,
And this is how I like tried to fly. And at some point I like practiced in my dreams and I got higher and higher. And at some point I could actually fly. It
okay.
was really cool.
Um,
But
I
yeah,
like
start
to.
from the ground, people. It's more safe.
A lot of people tend to uh, not travel or not adventure because they are afraid. They are afraid of. It's not just the unknown, but they have the impression that people are going to be mean to them, or that somehow they will be, uh, you know, be left out somewhere. Um, Sometimes I tell, for example, about when I was in the desert and how every car, not every car, but enough cars stop and ask if you need anything, offer you water, offer you, food, and so the more vulnerable and isolated you are, the more people actually reach out and help.
It's
And
true.
you have
It's
plenty
true.
of stories like that.
Yeah, it's true. Um, I think that, like you said, a lot of people, they don't really travel because they're afraid of not being capable of doing certain things, of ending up in situations and being lost and hopeless. I think what people forget is that people are actually very kind. People are actually, their nature is to take care of each other. And especially maybe in big cities, we sometimes forget that because when we go through daily life, we don't really need to show these abilities. But when it ends up, like when it comes to it, people are really, really kind and they take care of each other. For example, I remember when traveling through Italy, I hadn't taken a shower maybe in almost a week. You know, I was a little bit dirty. And, I was just like, we were traveling by car and we were just sleeping in the car and not being able to take a shower. And we didn't have much money, so we just used the money especially for the petrol and everything. So we ended up somewhere in a very small pizza restaurant for some cheap pizza. And it was a very local, small village somewhere. And we ended up talking with this man in the restaurant who makes the pizza, the pizza man. How do you call that? Pizza man.
Yeah,
And
pizzaiolo, I believe. Something like
uh,
that. Yeah, I think that's the word, pizzaiolo.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So
I'm dumb
me
on the
neither.
Italian, but
Anyway,
I
the
think that's
man
the
who
word.
makes the pizzas.
Yeah.
I didn't speak Italian. I still don't. And the man didn't even speak English. And so we were just having this conversation with hands and feet and like Pictionary, like trying to have this conversation with body language and everything. But that's also a thing, you don't really need to be afraid if you don't speak the language. There are so many more ways to communicate. Well, anyway, in the end, he figured out, may it be by smell or that he actually understood me, that I didn't take a shower for a long time. And also we slept in the car and everything. So he invited us into his home, which was very nice, just like to take a shower. So okay, we agreed, and then we went to his home, and then I found out he lives like in a very like old Italian apartment, and his shower is actually not really working, so he doesn't really have a shower. But still he offered to help. So what he did, he had this very big pasta pan, and he would like fill it with water and cook it, and then he would give me the pan and this soda bottle cut in half, so it's like a cup, and give it to me to wash myself. And it was so nice. I was like standing in the shower that didn't work with the pasta pan filled with hot water and this little self-made cup to wash myself. It was so nice. Just like this kindness of this man who didn't have much himself to just share whatever he had. So I was able to clean myself. It was so nice, this kindness, this generosity. It was overwhelming. And then he even offered me to sleep in his bed, which at that moment I didn't, because we wanted to drive to the next town. But it was just so nice, like he offered us the shower, the bed to sleep in, to have a good rest, and some coffee. Like just the kindness, you know. And this is just one of the small things of the many things that have happened to me. Like, people are really, really kind. It's 2 times now already, one time in Brazil, one time in London, that I got a ride from police officers. I was hitchhiking, and, you know, obviously not hitchhiking as soon as I saw the policeman coming, because I'm not sure where it's legal and where not. So, but they asked me, like, "Hey, what are you doing? It's dark. It's dangerous. I'm not sure. What are you waiting for?" I was like, "I'm waiting for the bus or something, you know, like, or I'm lost, or I'm just walking." Which in London, I was actually just walking, because many times I just walk a lot. Also to save cost, and I don't mind walking. And both times they were like, you know, it's dangerous out here, especially this time. Come, we give you a ride. So kind, so kind. Like, and those are police officers. That is just, you know, a funny story. Like, hey, I got a ride from policeman in a police car. But so many other people who were just, you know, like, have other jobs, who are not policemen or women, who also gave me rides, and got me to destinations that were really far to walk, or, you know, really helped me out, or times that I was lost and people just picked me up and helped me out. People who offered me last moment couches where I could sleep on. People who in the middle of the night came to pick me up because I ended up in a house that wasn't that safe in the end. Because, you know, sometimes those things happen, and then you need to know that you have the balls to go away, to walk out of that situation. And yeah, you know, like, if you choose to go couch surfing and sleep with people you don't know and stay with local people, I mean, I always want to believe in the kindness of the people. I believe that people have good hearts and good intentions. But, you know, once in a while you end up in a place that, you know, it doesn't end up very good. It's they're Yeah, not everyone is very good, or, you know, maybe their intentions are good, but, you know, it doesn't really feel good for you. So anyway, it's a situation you need to get out of. So, and then you need to believe in yourself. I think that's the most important thing when you're traveling. You need to believe in yourself, that you are strong enough to get out of that situation, and believe in the kindness of others to help you in that kind of situations.
That is, in a way, a cynical way of seeing it, and I am guilty of it. That when we hear a girl talking about it, about how much people help her and how much people have been kind to her and all that, a lot of people will say, well, you know, but yeah, but she's a pretty girl, you know, and everybody will help her. But I have a very good counter argument for that, that I'm not a pretty girl. And when I travel, I feel the same. I see, you know, people help me. So I
Hmm.
discover in practice that it's not just because you're a girl, it's because you
Yeah,
are out there. When you ask people
exactly.
for help, a lot of them will help. They will
Yeah,
help no matter how you look, no matter who you are, and pretty much no matter your nationality or your, you know, ethnicity. You know, you can be any ethnicity. People will help, but you have
yeah,
to smile. You have to talk to people with sincerity.
yeah,
And in any country, you can, if you know how to say hello, thank you, and please, everything else you figure out. You know, you don't need to know anything else.
it's like a mirror. I mean, the thing that you project is what you get back to other people. As long as you're open, as long as you're vulnerable, as long as you're willing, to be this kind person to other person, that is what you will receive in return as well. I mean, it works like a mirror. The moment you're going to be like, oh, grumpy and shut down, I mean, obviously no one is going to come to you too. People are going to shut down for you as well. It's a mirror effect. The moment you open up, the moment you smile to people, you receive smiles, you receive people that will talk to you because you are open as well. It's the mirror effect. It happens everywhere, even when you're not traveling, even when you're just going to work, sitting in the train. I mean, I used to go to school for 6 years, taking the train every day. And I had so many conversations every day, because I would just have this, how do you say, like I guess my energy was like that, you know, I was always open. And the days that, which obviously I have too, because I'm just a human being as well, I would have the days that I would feel a bit more down and I would close myself. No one would talk to me,
Mhm.
because I was the one who was shutting myself out. That's not the other people doing it. It's you.
Mhm.
So if you're saying like, yeah, no, but no one ever talks to me, try to think like, okay, but what is it that I am doing? What kind of energy do I project towards other people? It's the mirror effect. So of course, if you're going to go out on the road, you want to be someone that other people can easily approach, because you'll need their help, especially if you're going to go on an adventure with not much money and everything. You if you want to interact with other people, which is great, which give you the best adventures and travel stories and everything. So it's up to you. It's all up to your own energy, what you project to the outer world.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with how little you spent, especially when you were in Brazil, and you were telling me more or less how your numbers and how you were doing things. I was impressed, and then later traveling for several weeks together, I saw that you were very flexible on that, and the fact that you like to cook also helps. It
Yeah.
helps me too because I like to cook, but not depending on restaurants makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But also, I noticed that everybody that you met along the way, they had this amazing impression of you. Like I introduced you to several of my friends in Brazil, and they all replied the same. Wow, she was so nice. She was so cool with everybody, and had a great a great approach to everything. So that willingness to go further, to occasionally endure discomfort, and the willingness to be nice to others first always helps,
Yeah.
and it has been something that people notice on you. She walks down the street talking to cars, thinking that maybe they will be transformers. I told you your secret. I'm sorry, I had to tell.
Oh man, that's not a secret. The people here know. I told them in Japan because I went to Tokyo and there's this huge Gundam, and it's amazing because it reminded me of the Transformers, and I talked to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I guess, I like that about myself, that I'm someone that travels the world and meets these awesome people, and occasionally I work as a model, but like honestly, I'm just this like super geek, weird, crazy girl, like whatever, and I'm not, I'm so happy with all the imperfections, and I embrace that, and I see that as a perfect, as a whole. I like being crazy. I like being a geek, and not everyone needs to like me. That's fine.
Oh, you know what I remember a lot when we visit our friends in Germany, and you became so close to their kids. That
Yeah,
was that
I'm
was
gonna
so
marry the little
amazing.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I remember like someone took a picture. I know it wasn't me because I was busy with the bike. I think it was uh, Nicole that took the photo of you like hugging the boy. He was
Yeah,
like what, 10 years old, 9 years old, something like it. And
yeah,
it was one of the most beautiful pictures ever because you see that there was a lot of emotion there. He really liked you. um, I thought, and I'll put that picture here on the podcast. uh, I think it was a very very intense visit, that the kids loved you, that everybody liked you, and we did a lot of work. We spent like almost a week there,
yeah.
if I remember
True.
well.
And yeah, I think that is something I would like to say about travels as well. The thing is, with when you travel a lot, when you have this traveling lifestyle, it's all the connections you make are very, very intense. Um, there are moments that I feel lonely because there are not certain friends constantly around me, like in a way I would love to have. Like when you see other people and they have this great group of friends who are constantly around them, always like ready for them, and they're always near. I don't have that because I'm always like traveling, like I'm on the road. You don't have these people constantly with you. But instead of that, I have this very, very intense relationships with the people that I meet on the road. And something that starts with kindness and openness, like we discussed before, which is genuine, because if it was fake, it wouldn't be received with those open arms, I'm sure of. So it needs to really come from the heart, you know. It's not like, oh, you know, I should just be kind to those people because that would work better for me. No, you know, you like it you need to feel it, and really, it has to be really you who feels that. And I really feel that towards those people, and I feel so much gratitude. So all those people who I meet on the way and who help me and who become my friends, but that also all those very, very intense relationships, because they happen so fast. And the contrast of those intense relationships that I make on the while traveling, and the contacts that I make while I'm just in the Netherlands, like on a regular routine with all the people who do not travel, it's sometimes so difficult for me because I'm used to have these relationships that develop so quick, so intense. And then when I'm in the Netherlands and I want to build up relationship with people, because I'm used to having it so like intense, I'm often think like, hey, why is this going so slow? You know, like what's happening? But it's also like on the road, because everything is so intense. It's every time it's hard to leave, because those people, they leave this space in your heart, and every time you have to leave, and it's hard, and you know it's heartbreaking in a way, but it's okay, because you know that the next adventure is waiting for you, and there's so many more beautiful people that are waiting for you. And I guess in a way it's very emotional, the whole thing, the whole traveling thing, because it's all very, very intense. And because it's those relationships go so deep on such a short time, there's so much you can share with them, so much you can learn from those people, because you open up so much more than you would regularly do. Yeah, it's a lot of emotion comes in. It's you know, you need to be able to handle that too, I guess.
And how are your logistics now? I remember that before going to Brazil, before before going to the Buddhist temple, and then
Mm.
later before this trip to Tokyo, you were selling your stuff, you were getting rid of your things, and you know you downsized a lot over the last 2 years.
I did.
And how
Yeah.
downsized it is at this point.
I mean, I have a small room in The Hague, in my father's house, apartment.
Hmm.
Um, that is where I sleep when I'm in the Netherlands. And, you know, there's just some stuff there and some boxes. Not much. I still want to downsize more. So I guess after every travel, every time I come back in the Netherlands, I don't really want to say home, because it's the place I feel least at home. But every time I come back to that place, I feel like downsizing even more and more, because on your travels you really notice how less it is, how yeah, you don't need that much.
Hmm.
And I know that, and I feel that. But on your travels, you really, really get to experience that, and
Yeah.
it's a wonderful feeling, because the more stuff I get rid of, the more free I become, the more free I feel, and it feels great. Just, you know, getting rid of all the things, and you know, the financial stuff, the finances you get back for it once in a while. It's just, you know, it's just a nice plus to it, but it's not the reason that I put my stuff away for. It's
Yeah.
not that I sell my stuff for more money. It's that I sell my stuff because I don't need it, because I don't want to have stuff lingering around, weighing down on me, that I don't need.
Yeah, the shopping experience changes completely. Now, every time I go to a place and I see something I like, immediately I think, if I buy this, I have to carry it. You know, be
Yeah,
that by backpacking or motorcycle or, you know, even just flying from one place to another, it means it's more stuff on the bag, and the bag is
yeah,
already full, you know. So just
exactly.
thinking of the logistics of carrying stuff
Mm,
stops me
yeah,
from shopping very often.
yeah. I mean, I had this big backpack, when I first started traveling, I was with a big suitcase. Then I went from a very big backpack in Brazil, and I hated the thing because it was too big. It was too heavy.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you have a big backpack, you tend to fill it up. You tend to
Yes.
fill up what you have. So now it just, that small backpack you gave me one day,
Uh-huh.
I'm still using that one.
Uh-huh.
That's the only thing I traveled with.
Yeah,
So
that's a
it's
33
just
liter. It's a medium size.
exactly,
Very nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing more that fits in it, that's it. Then you're not going to bring it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you buy a bigger backpack, you tend to fill it with more stuff. So
Uh-huh.
it's better to just get a smaller backpack. And if that's the limit, that's it. I mean, you're not going to bring it. Most things I spend my money on besides the flight tickets, basically food. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I love food.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of, collecting moments, not things. So that's important. And I think food is an experience as well.
Okay. Now imagine all the things that people ask you about, and very often, those
Mm,
repeating questions, but also
mm,
all those things that you would like them to know, something that you want to teach them. This is an opportunity. We are going to do other podcasts in the future, but it may take a while. It's
mm,
probably next time we cross paths in the world somewhere. So
mm.
until then, what it is that you want them to know?
I want people to. I would like for people to stop telling themselves that they need more money to do certain things. To stop always saving more, saving more, saving more, and in the end, not ending up doing it. I would like people to know that if they just go, it will be okay. Um, I would like people to know that it's not wrong to dream big, and that dreaming big is even better than having small dreams, because very big dreams have less competition.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I would just like people to know that it will be okay, because people, they walk with so much fear, they walk with so much mountains in their path, mountains that they have created themselves. And what, like, take that climb, go, and you only know what's on the other side if you first take that climb. You can only see the view from the top. So
Mhm.
I would like people to just get there, like take those steps. Don't think too much about the finances. um, don't think too much about things that you are not able to do. You can always learn things on the way as well. Like, people are saying, oh no, I will go there, but first I want to learn the language. Oh, I'll go there, but first I want to have this much money.
Mhm.
And when they have that, they create the next excuse,
Yeah.
and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
Yes.
Stop
Also,
making excuses.
yeah. Also, I noticed that people tend to estimate so badly how much they need. So they
Mm,
think, uh, for example, they may think that traveling through Europe requires like $100 a day or something like
mm,
that, which is like a backpack. No matter
yeah,
how big the backpack is, you're going to fill it up. And no matter how much money you have, you will spend it all.
yeah,
So if you go with a budget of 20 euros a day, you will live within 20 euros a day. If
exactly.
you go with 10 euros a day, you end up traveling anyway. You just change the methods. You change the
Hmm.
way you do it a little bit. But
Yeah,
no matter how much money, and usually people
you
think,
got to
oh,
be
to go to
flexible.
Europe, I need like $10,000, which in their lifestyle may be something very difficult to reach. But they are not aware that some people are traveling, expensive places like Western Europe with 20 euros a day. People
Yeah,
can travel South America with 10 euros a day.
yeah,
And Western Europe must be maybe even less. It
yeah.
can be very cheap. Um, and all this planning sometimes gets on the way of actually going out and just doing it and then using the experience to do more. You know, for you today, it must be much easier to go out and and travel pretty much anywhere than it was the first time you did it. So
Yeah, of course.
just the experience helps.
You build up the confidence along the road too.
Yeah.
I mean, practice really, it's for everything. You can become better at things as long as you practice, and that's with traveling too.
Yeah.
It's it's a lifestyle, and practicing that certain lifestyle makes you become better at it. So definitely. I wanted to say something, but I lost it. Oops.
We'll save that for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Kim, thank you so much.
You
you are a very inspiring figure, not just for me, but for a lot of people that know you. And we are very happy to have you here. Very grateful for all the volunteering you do for Voyagers World, and how much you have been helping us. So thank you so much for all that, and thank you for participating on this podcast.
I remember.
What was it?
I was just gonna say that if you're not a traveler, if you don't feel the need to travel, that's okay too. It's not like I don't believe that everyone should travel. Some people they have their own journey, but in one place, and that's fine too. Like, not that people think that we were saying that everyone should travel, they should go. I mean, some people, they have their own journey, their own adventure in one place, and they have that in their own way. So everyone has their own way of traveling, their own way of growing, and just find your own way, and that's fine. There's not just one correct thing or one wrong thing. I don't even believe that much in good or bad. So just do whatever feels good to you, and that's okay. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right.
And hopefully I'll see you again in person at some time in the near future, and we'll shoot another podcast then.
All right.
Thank you, Kim. Bye-bye.
See you.
The view is, brother.
It hurts like hell, but it's good. I got it on video.
Shit.
No,
Oh
it's
my God.
okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just over the rock.
Oh my God. Well, this is power yoga.
We hope you like this podcast as much as we like to produce it. This has been made possible by the efforts of dozens of volunteers, supporters, partners, and visionaries that are helping us build Voyagers World. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.